I am Curran Bhatia. I am chatting with Ray Robinson, the new Ray Robinson. Ray, I know you're from Philadelphia. We know everything that's going on in the world right now. Where are you right now? Are you safe? Is everything good?
Yes, I'm safe. We're good. Everything's all right.
And I know you have your son with you right now, stuck in some
I do.
traffic. Yeah. So I appreciate you joining me right now. I wanted to ask you, everything that you've gone through in your life. I mean, it wasn't really easy for you to get where you are now. You've overcome poverty. You had a broken neck, I believe, when you were a younger fighter. You had a car accident. So you've gone through a lot. And in perspective of what's going on right now with the global pandemic, I mean, what is your perspective on everything that's going on? Is this just kind of another bump in the road in life?
It is. It kind of sucks because I came off of two back-to-back draws that a lot of people thought I won. So I thought that my career was going to like take off a little bit because of that. And then this happens, but I mean, right now with my luck, sometimes things like that happen to me. It was like one of them things that I can't really do nothing about.
And you had the two recent draws, like we talked about. You've been in the game for a while. You're 34 years old, 24-3 record. So you have been in the news recently, and I had to ask you about this, of course. Top Rank Boxing, as we know, are doing a great job. I've mentioned this before many times. Brad Jacobs and the team with ESPN and the bubble in Vegas. A lot of people are boxing fans are watching these fights, and they were talking about Terence Crawford and who they should have him fight. Tim Bradley brought up your name. He said Terence Crawford should fight Ray Robinson. He said, I have a name for you. We've seen him on our show. His name is Ray Robinson. He's one of the last people to beat Terence Crawford in the amateurs. So what do you think of Tim Bradley's suggestion? I'm sure that you agree with it, right?
Yeah, 100%. I feel as though I just fought Kai Velasquez, and the winner was supposed to fight Crawford. Whoever won, I feel like it was a draw. No one won, and somehow Kai Velasquez still got a shot at the world title. But so I feel as though that's my time to get a shot at Crawford. I think that it actually make more sense. You know, we got history. It's more drama. I think people really enjoy that.
And you mentioned the history that you have with Terence Crawford. So what is the history? You fought him in the amateurs. What happened in the amateurs?
So I fought him in the nationals, in U.S. nationals. Whoever wins get on fight for the USA boxing team, and I wound up beating him 22-18, and that's it. That's where it started.
That's where it started. Now, I saw there's a little bit more to this story in terms of the background between you and Terence Crawford. You beat him in the U.S. championships, but you said that after you got out of the ring, his whole family tried to fight you
Yeah,
afterwards. What exactly
yeah.
happened there?
Him. It was. I guess they didn't like the decision. They felt so that he won, and I honestly clearly won, and they were just, I guess, upset, let their emotions get the best of them, and that's what happened.
And so they came up to you, they tried to fight you. Was there an actual fight there, or was it just more,
Well,
of an
they
altercation, or what happened?
yeah, it was more of just yelling back and forth. I was at the USOEC at the time, so my teammates was yelling at his peoples, and my peoples, his peoples were yelling at mine. So it was like people were trying to break it up. So it's kind of like crazy.
And has that bad blood remained between you and Team Crawford through the years?
I mean, I just feel as though I want my shot. So I feel as though that we it's something there. I'm sure that he probably will want that win back. I'm constantly talking shit. So I'm sure that he kind of want that back. So
And I also wanted to ask you about when those comments were made. You talked about the fight that you had with Crawford. You were also asked. This was in 2017 about what you thought about Crawford moving up to welterweight at the time. So I know that you thought that that was going to be a challenge for Crawford. Since then, he's been 4-0 at welterweight, but he had his most recent fight against Mean Machine, who you mentioned. You had the draw with him. Crawford got the knockout win, but it wasn't easy. What have you made of Terence Crawford at welterweight so far?
listen, at the end of the day, he's a decent fighter. He's a good fighter. I can't take that away from him. But honestly, I feel as though they putting the right people in front of him. I don't think he fought, the last not Mexican American. I'm talking about like an all American. The last person he fought was Hank Lundy. I think Hank Lundy was actually coming up in weight. So if you think about it, they put the right people in front of him. He hasn't fought someone like an all American, So I feel as though that, we have that kind of style that, we both can adapt to. I mean, I just think it's an exciting fight to the fans. We're around the same height, even fighting a lot of short people or, things like that. So I feel it's like him fighting someone with long arms too, southpaw, I think it would just be a good matchup.
And when you say he's a decent fighter, I mean, he's at the top of the pound-for-pound rankings in a lot of different rankings. Do you feel that that spot is deserved and earned by him?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm not a hater. I mean, his team did a wonderful job getting him the right people to setting him up for his success. Um, I just went through the mud. I fought a lot of coming up. I fought a lot of, tough fights. Normally, young fighters don't fight, right off the bat. So where I'm at right now, I feel like I deserve that shot.
And you mentioned you had fought Kavaliauskas, a.k.a. Mean Machine. I mentioned Crawford fought him as well. There were some struggles early for Crawford. Did you see that fight? What did you think about Crawford versus Mean Machine in the early rounds?
I thought it was a decent fight. I just thought that Crawford could have probably made it a little easier. But it's one of them things. I guess he chose to fight that way. Sorry if you hear my son. We do not like this car right now.
No worries, man, at all. So we mentioned Crawford. You've actually fought a lot of really well-known names in the game. You fought Porter, Ugas. We mentioned Mean Machine, Josh Kelly. There's so many names on your resume. Do you feel that whoever you fight at welterweight, you're going to have the experience advantage in terms of fighting champions, fighting top fighters?
Absolutely. That's one thing that I definitely feel like I have the upper hand on a lot of fighters that I fight, that I do have that experience because I have fought, some tough competition. So I feel as though that's one of them things that I get the upper hand on people.
Absolutely. And I know that you're from Philly. We mentioned that. There's another Philly fighter, Danny Garcia, and I know that you've mentioned his name a few times. Do you still want to crack at Danny Garcia?
Yeah, but I don't think he wanted not a piece of me. It's one of them things. I just don't think that. I mean, we got history too. I used to get off on him at the, in sparring and things like that. I just think that, these guys don't want to, deal with someone that's, awkward, long, saying slick, things like that. So, I mean, at the end of the day, if you look at me fighting Kavaliauskas, I made him look like he had 2 left feet. I messed up their whole plan, right? I mean, I think I read something. They said that I was basically a sparring partner for Kavaliauskas for him to fight Crawford. So they expected him to destroy me and then blow up that fight with him against Crawford because we almost got the same style, tall, long. He's southpaw. He always switched southpaw, things like that. And I 100% messed up their whole plan.
And just going back to Danny Garcia for 1 second, I know you mentioned the sparring. How much did you spar with Danny? Was it a lot of sparring? And just tell us a little bit about it. How did it go down? And why do you feel that you got the better of it?
I mean, if you was there, you had 2 eyes, you would see that I got the best of it. It's just one of them things. I just feel like if you can box, you got good feet work, use a good jab. I think anyone can outbox Danny. I feel like sometimes with his feet work, is playing it on the ground. I get he's trying to crack hard with the big overhand right, but you can't hit what you can't see.
And another fighter in the welterweight division I wanted to ask you about was Errol Spence. He's obviously had a lot of success in the ring, just like Crawford and Garcia and the other guys we talked about. We don't know exactly what's going to happen after he had the car accident. As we know, he's hopefully recovered and hopefully he'll be to his back to his old self. What do you think about Errol Spence, and how do you think that matchup would go?
What? Who, Crawford or him?
No, I was going to say, I know that you've said in the past that you see flaws in Errol Spence, right? So a matchup between you and Errol Spence, how would that go down?
Oh, yeah. No one's perfect. I feel like with me and my team, we're really good at breaking people down and figuring them out and know what they're good at and what they're bad at. So I think it would be a good matchup. I think that I surprise a lot of people.
Absolutely. And you train with Curran Bhatia, another great young fighter. He's 23 years old. I believe his dad trains you and him. What is your relationship like with Bootsenis?
We're really good friends. He's like my brother. It's one of them things that we always help each other out, and that dude have got so much talent. He keep you on your toes, and he makes sure you just stay sharp. I always got him in my camp. He always helping me out with the pads. Man, he can do it all.
And have you sparred with him? What's sparring been like? What have you taken away from sparring with Bootsenis?
Oh man, he's the type of guy. He can bang, he can box, he got hell of reflexes and things like that. So it's one of them things that you constantly learning with him.
So just to close it out, you're 34 years old. We mentioned a lot of names. Is there a fight on the calendar? Who do you hope to have next and when?
I want Crawford. I want Crawford, man. That's honestly, I just feel as though that that'd be a great fight, to be honest. Me and Crawford, and I just feel as though that we can do a lot of good for the sport. Like I said, it's something that they can sell, or something that they can, people want to check that out. Like I said, we both got issues. We both don't like each other, things like that. So I think it'd be cool. And like I said, I want to prove to people, like I said before, with the whole Vernon Forrest and Shane Mosley. A lot of people was like, oh, I don't know, Vernon Forrest beat him in amateurs. Amateurs and pros is different. And everyone say all the time, like, oh, Crawford got better. I also did too. Styles make fights. And I just feel like I would show a lot of people up, and I prove a lot of people wrong.
Well, let's hope that you get that opportunity with Crawford. Last question for you. There's a documentary about your life on YouTube. I know that you've been through a lot. We mentioned the poverty and getting out of that situation. You had car accidents. You had other things that you had to face. Obviously, everyone right now is going through a tough time in the world. Any words of encouragement, anything you want to say to fans and supporters?
Just listen, just constantly keep working hard. If you got a dream, and you gotta take every opportunity that you get and run with it, hit the ground running, wake up and do what you got to do, and you'll get to your goal. Listen, man, I had a lot of bumps in the road, and I had a lot of chances to give up. I had a lot of chances to fold my cards, and probably a lot of people would have blinked twice if I would have gave up or folded, because I had a lot of things against me. So by me not giving up and me constantly, I don't say this works out all the time for everyone, but I put all my eggs in one basket, and it kind of worked out for me. Kids nowadays, they in 4 to 5 different sports. I just put all my eggs in the boxing game, and it kind of worked out. It helped me go to college, travel the world. You know what I'm saying? So I feel as though that if you got something, you believe in it, run with it.
Well said. Ray Robinson, I want to thank you so much for the time. Best of luck with your pursuit of a big fight versus Terence Crawford. Hope to see you back in the ring soon. And thanks for
having me.
Thanks for spending the time. I know you got to drop off your son, so I'll talk to you soon, my man.
All right, man. Have a good one.